Do people get to see this?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, we're live.
Garage Goons, episode 10, most trash show on YouTube. It's your boy's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Big 3-2. No, it's an awful birthday year.
Oof.
I feel like that's like kind of like after your 20s, it's just everything just seems kind of like underwhelming. And
someone told me when I turned 25 that I was a quarter century of dirt. So I kind of
they're not wrong, dude. They're not wrong. So, that's fun. So yeah, guys, Theo, go check that interview out. I think it's like episode 6 or something, but really, really awesome. UFC 267. Glover Teixeira fights Jan Blachowicz, and Corey Sandhagen fights Piotr Jan. So, and that's all that really matters, because I guess we could talk about the Daghestanis, but they did Daghestani things in there
and won.
Yeah,
by a
very,
lot. Yeah,
very Daghestani-ish fight. I don't know what happened to my hookah tip, but it's just gone forever now. Yeah. So, I wanted to ask you, kind of knowing that Corey Sandhagen lost, and seeing what he did to TJ Dillashaw in the controversial loss, like, what do you think they should do with that guy now? Well,
with Sandhagen?
Yeah, what do you do with him now? Because he's fought 2 of the top dogs in the past 2 fights, went to war 2 times and came up with 2 L's. That's really tough, because it's like you don't want to move him down too far.
No,
but at the same time, 2 losses in a row is tough.
Yeah, I feel like that loss that he had to TJ was kind of like, I watched the fight and I guess he could have said that he won or he lost, whatever. But what I think is actually probably going to happen is that Piotr's going to beat Aljamain.
Right.
And then I think Sandhagen will end up fighting the loser of that.
I don't mind Sandhagen Aljamain, because I think we can just assume that Piotr's going to
wash him.
Fucking...
Because Sandhagen has fought Aljamain, but Aljamain apparently beat him super fast.
Yeah,
but the game's changed a lot.
Oh, and he's improved. Like, his level of improvement is fucking nuts, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So he's like, even from last year, he's a different guy.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I feel like Sandhagen he'll be champion one day, but he's the only person I feel like he has to get through is Piotr, and possibly TJ if TJ stops doing stupid ass shit.
Yeah, well, yeah,
stop hurting himself.
Yeah, that too. I agree. I feel like we're really close to the entire UFC getting a little stale, and I'm hoping that's not the case, but like,
how so?
Well, it's good in some ways because you have superstars everywhere, but if you think about the champions, all of them are so dominant and almost pretty much have cleared out all of the divisions. Like, you think about Piotr, like, if he gets past Aljamain, he's already beat Sandhagen. That's out of here. There's only one fight to make, and that's TJ after this. And then after that point, like,
unless Cejudo does something and he
could always unretire and make it interesting. But and then the big question I wanted to really ask is, like, do you feel like, as much of an asshole as he is and as bad for the sport as he is, do you feel like the absence of John Jones and like knowing that literally all these fools that are fighting for belts right now basically got mollywopped by him bad at some point in their career? So now there's like this big vacuum at 205. It's like, I really thought that, for me, I thought that Blachowicz was like, young, he has a good style of fighting. Everyone likes knockouts. He's big, he's strong, Polish power. He's marketable, good looking dude. He's not too old yet. I think he's like in his early 30s, late 20s, somewhere in there. And I thought maybe he could take the division to the next level and get these younger guys like Johnny Walker and them guys kind of more involved. But he loses to a fucking 40-something-year-old Glover Teixeira that has like a million miles on him.
I think he was in the UFC even when Dana had hair.
He fought for belts like 5 years ago, and 5 years in MMA time is like, that's a lot of miles, dude. So in the thumbnail it says, "Do you think he's bad for the sport?" And I don't mean as a person, as a fighter. I just think like anytime a guy that's like a seasoned vet, almost, I don't want to call him a journeyman because he's always been hanging around the top 5, but it's almost like the same feeling I got when Bisping won, where it's like, he's clearly not the best guy in division, but he legitimately won the title.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take that from him.
Someone can beat him. At least 3 people can beat him.
If the UFC did what they should have done based on rankings when Bisping was the champ, he fights OL the first time he defends the belt and gets stomped. Like, I don't think anybody thinks Bisping wins that fight.
No, I don't think so either.
And I feel like having a guy like Glover as a champion is kind of bad for the sport, because it's like you just want to see it keep evolving, and John Jones forced everyone to become better. I don't think Glover does that,
regardless of John Jones is like, you know, obviously his dumb stuff that he does like outside the octagon apparently, but I mean, from watching it when we were first watching it and everything like that, seeing like John Jones, like you said, clearly dominate everybody.
Right.
Hey, we're filming. What's up, babe? You're on camera.
You're on camera. Birthday boy, don't look at me.
We just started.
Okay. You go ahead.
It's my birthday, guys. We already went over that, but I just feel like when Glover got the belt, what do you do with that? Because honestly, these guys, if we're just gonna sit down and be honest, they're not even the second best, but behind John Jones at this weight division. And I know he's left and he's been gone for years, and that's been due more to like legal battles and fighting over contracts and money and whatnot. But like, he never lost to get out of that position. He just did dumb shit.
Yeah.
And these guys aren't even second best, because DC fucked them all up too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
true.
And he's commentating on all these fights. So that's why I feel like if
he was a good Christian boy,
we
wouldn't be talking about
I feel like
John Jones.
And the Ultimate Fighter, the tough show doesn't really have like the pizzazz that it did when it, 5-10 years ago when it was really exciting to watch.
If you look at like season 1 to like maybe season 5 or season 10,
great.
You can clearly point out every fucking person and be like, these guys are like all great.
Yeah.
Like,
and now the Contender series is kind of replaced that as far as like filling in talent, like filling out the roster, instead of having this reality TV show. So it's more just about fights now rather than,
Now, would you rather go through the tough competition or just do the Contender series?
It depends, because for me, you got an instant leg up if you back in the day, not the most recent one, because I can't tell you one guy that was on the
Ultimate Fighter.
The Ultimate Fighter with Volkanovski and Ortega. I couldn't tell you one guy, but if you look at the guys that won those shows, Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonner got second, but like,
you had Tony Ferguson in that mix,
Nate Diaz, all these guys that did really well. Even a little bit later on, Nelson,
Roy Nelson,
Big
Country.
Yeah, all of these guys got fame and stardom and fans with that, and so I would rather, if that's the potential, I'd rather get in that way, because at least I'm coming into the sport with momentum, because it's one thing to just be good and beat someone's ass on TV for 2 seconds, but if people actually like look into you and they're like, oh, I really like this guy's personality and his fighting style, I feel like there's a little bit more of a draw right off the bat. Like, all these guys were headlining cards like a year after they got off the show. So I'd rather go that route, but now it's kind of stale. Like I said, the Ortega Volkanovski thing, like who fucking even came off that show?
I mean, there were 2 guys that I thought were like, I mean, for me personally, it was kind of hard now with the Ultimate Fighter, but I feel like if you watch it from the very get-go and like get to know these types of fighters, some of them are stale. Yeah. And like personality wise, or you're like, man, I'm really pulled for this guy, but he just, shits the bed. But then you have these guys who are like just super quiet, and they just come up and you're like, you know what? I like to see this guy do some damage. And they just, the 2 guys that actually came out of it, I can't remember, Ricky something I think he was
Yeah.
on Volkanovski's team. He's
Yeah.
actually like pretty good. He's more of like a.
I
crazy
maybe I
karate
feel
kid.
like maybe what it is they're not they're making it more about the coaches now, whereas in the past they made it about the
they're like trying to
fighters on
hype
there.
up a fight between them.
Yeah, that's like the main thing, and like before it was like
it was always the fighters.
It was always the fighters. Yeah, it was always them playing pranks on each other and
Yeah.
doing stupid shit like, putting their mattresses in the pool and fighting each other outside of the cage and doing.
You see how much they can drink.
Yeah.
and then you have the guy who's just like, I just want to bang, bro. I just want to bang.
Yeah, that guy, that fucking guy.
You know, he does-
Let me bang, bro.
You know he does bare knuckle now,
I'm not.
and he's
surprised.
actually like pretty decent from what I understand. For the last fight, I think he knocked out a dude.
Yeah,
It was funny.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of like the graveyard of the UFC. If you couldn't cut the mustard in the UFC, but you still want to make decent money, and you don't want to like have to go to like some Japanese organization or Russian organization, like I feel like
PFL,
PFL, yeah.
where I
Yeah.
think they announced
I
that
think you just go to bare
Mighty
knuckle.
Mouse was going to fight. I can't remember the dude's name, but one round was going to be strictly this. The other round was going to be strictly that. It was like one round is going to be Muay Thai. The other round is just going to be wrestling. And I was like, what? I was like, I don't understand.
It's really bad, dude. It's like it's almost like they're turning it into like a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
What they
God,
should
dude.
what they should do is what they should do. And obviously it's because I'm not a fighter by any means. I just like to see violence,
Right.
I just want to see someone bleed.
Let me bang, bro.
Let me bang, bro. Everyone should just be at catch weight at this point.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that take.
Obviously, like make it reasonable. You can't put Francis Ngannou against, Piotr Jan. But I mean, yeah.
But like, yeah, like
Costa.
the Diaz brothers, both of them, and a few other guys like Michael Chiesa and stuff, have been rallying because if you think about it, like the average human or the average American weighs somewhere between like 160 and 180 pounds. So like obviously that means like the vast majority of fighters are probably going to come in within that weight class. So and if you think about it, almost every other weight class, it's within 10 pounds of each other,
Mhm.
but it goes from 155 to 170. That's 15 pounds.
That's
So they've been talking about making like a 160 or 165 class for a long time, and I wouldn't really be mad at that. Like
but it would almost force fighters to either stay at 150 and not gain the weight to go to 165, or they go, I actually like 165 more because I have to cut just to get to this.
I think that'd be great for like, I mean, I know the guy's basically retired now, or he is retired, but like, remember Cowboy? You never knew where he was going to, it was always, now I'm 155, now I'm 170. Same thing with Anthony Pettis. He's been bouncing up and down. Same thing with Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor. There's been a few guys, Michael Chiesa. There's been a few guys that have jumped up and down between weight classes. And even think about like a guy like Wonder Boy, right? Who started his career at 155, then went up to 170. He always in every fight looks like the smaller guy. And I feel like if there was a 160 or 165 weight class, he'd be great at that class.
Wait, what is Wonder Boy fight out? Welter, right?
170, yeah. Every time you
He's
see him in
super
there,
tall too.
he's tall, but every time you see him in there,
He
just
looks like the normal karate guy.
yeah, like the skinnier, lanky, like, oh man, this guy definitely looks like he's giving up muscle to whoever he's going against, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah,
George Masvidal.
yeah. He fought George Masvidal.
No, I'm saying George Masvidal started at 155,
yeah.
moved up to 170.
I don't know how other people feel, but I kind of feel the George Masvidal hype has kind of died down. I mean, it was at the peak when you obviously need Ben Askren in, 4 seconds, and then beat Nate Diaz or beat Nate Diaz prior for the belt, and then destroys Ben Askren because everyone hated Ben.
I mean, it was a perfect storm because Ben was dominant in every other organization, but he was totally ass at stand-up. Like his whole career, he just was like, I wrestle. I'm a wrestler. I'm in this sport because I can get paid to do it, but like, I'm just going to wrestle. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And when he beat Robbie Lawler, he was getting smashed before he got that bulldog choke. And then it was like Herb gets him off, and then Robbie's like, what are you doing? Fuck, man? I'm
What are you
still
doing?
here.
He's
What are you
like,
doing? Let me
I
bang,
thought-
bro.
I thought you were dead.
How
Yeah.
funny would it be if Robbie got in the mic and was like, just let me bang, bro.
Just
let me bang.
bro. I'm actually kind of upset that Herb Dean has called some fights either like too short, because I mean the highlighter kid versus Sean O'Malley.
Oh, that was sad, man. If you're gonna let him take that kind of a beating, let him go all the way.
Exactly.
Pick one or the other, dude. He was getting.
It was a 3-round fight.
Smashed the whole time. It was never competitive.
Let's hold it 20 seconds before the whole fight.
What was Herb waiting for? Like, I want to see if Sean O'Malley breaks his hand mid-fight on this guy's forehead, and then maybe he has a shot. I mean, I don't know, but I guess. Oh yeah, O'Malley is one guy I always forget about. Not because he's not great, but like at 135.
So then
him and Sandhagen would be great.
Okay. So then how about
I could watch that?
So then how about you have Aljamain and Piotr Jan? Sugar Sean wins.
Yeah,
he beats. I forgot who it was, Raphael or some guy, and then fights Sandhagen. And then those two mix it up and see who gets the belt.
Well, and whoever's left over, if you really want to, because people forget, but Jose Aldo's doing pretty damn good at 135 himself.
I thought did he not retire? Oh, well, I thought he retired.
No, I think he took an L, but like he was on a 3-fight win streak or something.
No, I thought he just won.
Did he? Okay, yeah. No, I know he was doing really good.
I can't remember who he won again.
But like, whatever. Aljamain deserves to go back down the rankings after he inevitably gets his ass beat by Piotr in this one because
he fought Pedro Munoz. Sorry, I think. Yeah, Jose fought Pedro and he beat Pedro.
So I guess that division is not as still as I thought, but I mean, I just don't see maybe O'Malley gets it done, but I just think Piotr is so dominant right now. Like I didn't believe the hype when I first saw him because like obviously Cejudo was like levels above. Like Demetrius Johnson cleared out the division and then Cejudo
finally got like a second win. I mean, he was the type of guy that like the UFC was going to cut because he wasn't making weight.
Yeah.
He didn't look as good. And
that
then
was
out of
problem.
nowhere, I don't know what like happened. He got like, the Jesus juice and just went wham and then straight to the top.
Yeah, man. He was.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, he's
clearly more dominant. If you saw like when he fought TJ Dillashaw.
He's clearly a 135er. He's not one. I know he fought at 125, whatever, but that's
a scary 135er though, because
man.
Because I mean, he's fast. He's insanely fast.
Fast Olympic level wrestler, right? Gold medal wrestler, and then on top of that, you add the fact that he has that one hitter quitter power, at least for that weight class. And
he could totally knock fucking people. I mean, like he did it to TJ. And
I did not expect that. Sucked up diet pills, TJ, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm not taking anything away from that win. That was legit, but like TJ should have never tried to make that weight. That was crazy.
Terrible.
Crazy, dude. He looked like a fucking skeleton. Have you seen that movie where 50 Cent plays a guy that gets cancer and like loses like 100 pounds for it?
I thought that was Will Smith.
No, 50 Cent played in this movie. I think it's like Everything Falls Apart is the name of it or some shit like that.
You told me about it.
And he loses so much weight, and you can literally see like this the temple indent. You could see it. It's fucking gross, dude. But yeah, he looked like that. But I don't know. Like, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, how about I guess segueing into still UFC 267. Kazmat Chimaev. Hi, Andrew. Kazmat Chimaev.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What do you do with him? Because, I mean, he's on a roll. They give him a lot of journeyman level guys, and he dominates all of them. Mm-hmm. Knocks guys out. Obviously, he's one of those Dagestani wrestlers, so he can just, if it's not going well, he could just take anybody to the ground. What do you do with him, though? Because it's like, I want to believe the hype, but at the same time, it's like, who does he fight next?
I mean, I think we discussed prior, but it'd either be Nate Diaz or I don't know why they want to do that to Nate. Nate
should not be at 170. I've been saying it the whole time. I don't know why.
Nate, or I think the article that I read, so obviously it could not be true, or it might be Neil Magny, because obviously I think he is still ranked and he is the top 10 guy from what I understand.
Yeah. Magny's just super boring. Like he finds ways to get it done, and he has no holes in his game, but he's not great. Pizzazz. Yeah, he's really bad for selling fights. He just wins. Like, he's the type of guy where I feel like if he had like 2 losses in a row, the UFC wouldn't even hesitate to cut him.
Yeah, But then I don't know. I see Kazmat, if he fights Neil Magny, I just see him using that strength.
I think
and just
you're
doing what he wants.
I think you're right on with Gilbert Burns because Gilbert Burns is coming off obviously a loss to Kamaru. I think he would wash.
Was that his last fight? Oh no, he lost to Vicente. No, lost to Vicente Luque.
Losses in a row, but he's still a name and he's still very dangerous. So I think if you give him to Kazmat, I know they don't like to pair up guys that they don't like to pair up a guy coming off a win with a guy coming off a loss, but I think that would.
But I mean, I looked at the rankings and I think Gilbert is top 5.
Yeah, I know he's because he only loses to
the guys that are above him.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe that's the match to make. And then I think obviously you were telling me off air that Luque is going to be the back plan B if one of the guys backs out.
Yeah, between Usman and Covington too.
Yeah,
Vicente
I mean that's
Luque.
right. I if one other guy you can make a case deserves to fight for the belt right now, it's him. But I just like I was saying off air that I feel like I know he will take it seriously, but I think it's unfair to say, well, you don't know which one of these guys you're fighting because if either one of them pulls out, he takes the fight, right?
Yeah,
and even though they're both wrestlers who
have decent
stand up, they're still very different fighters.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Colby's more of a classic. He's going to try to double leg you wrestler. He's going to go for deep shots. Kamaru is the kind of guy that wants to press you up against the cage and then kind of like
and do whatever
Greco you to death. Yeah, so
step on your toes.
Yeah, all that. Oh god, the toe stop fight, man. Poor George Masvidal.
50 toe steps.
George Masvidal's still rocking Skechers after this fight, man. He's got the orthopeds on, man. Those things got stomped flat, dude.
They hired Stitch again, but this time he's just wrapping up his toes and his feet.
He used to have normal feet and now he has to get the wide shoes.
He's taped up his feet so much he looks like a Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah. No, he's man, that was brutal to watch. Just in every way. Like
I didn't watch it, but I heard it was absolutely terrible.
Oh, it was the worst. It was like press him up against the cage, stomp his feet, and like that's one of those things where I know it's technically a guy is staying busy, but I feel like, dude, if all you're doing is foot stomping, the ref has to break that up. You can't let that go on for a full round.
No.
Because you're not going to stop the fight on a foot stomp.
I guess not. But at the end of the day, like, I keep seeing it on Instagram and everything that like everyone's making fun of Colby, like, oh, he broke his jaw, whatever. But obviously people know that Colby actually won the next round after he has apparent jaw breaking.
Well, that's the thing I like about Colby is like normally
he goes for it. That's why I love the guy.
Normally when you see great champions like Khabib, like George St. Pierre, like John Jones, you see them mentally break guys. Colby never mentally broke, even though he got his jaw, like his body literally failed him. It reminds me kind of like of Tony during the
Gaethje fight.
The Gaethje
that
fight
was so sad to watch.
Yeah, because he was like, fuck, my body is failing me, but I'm still here. Like he was trying to shake his head to clear blood from his broken ass eye socket, so I think, I mean, you can't quite, these are, Colby's got to be one of the toughest guys ever.
Oh yeah,
in the sport.
Yeah.
And
he gave Usman definitely a fucking run for his money. He was the only person who I believe that gives Usman that much trouble. And obviously, we can go into statistics and say a fake nut shot, which it was. And also a fake eye poke, of which he grabbed the wrong eye. But at the end of the day, now they get to fight again.
My thing is they didn't take a point for that, and trust me, eye pokes do affect things. Nut shots, I mean, they affect things, but you get a full 5 minutes. And
he took a decent amount of time, from what I understand.
Yeah, so I know that helped him with the cardio on the fake nut shot. I just think that Usman, I watched that fight again, and I feel like he would have won a close decision either way. But then these judges, you never know. So, but
hey man, Colby went down to they went down to the 5th round. Am I right?
Yeah. Before he got finished.
Yeah. So I mean, that right there is some insane will and mental, like.
No, toughness. Yeah. I mean, he never quit. And he's tough as nails. I think that if you look at like Kamaru Usman, used to be a really boring guy that would just Greco guys up against the fence. Very reminiscent of like a Randy Couture type guy where he's just
He wants
so
to wear you
technical. He wants to wear you down. It's not entertaining to watch. But if you look at his striking evolution, I mean, he's throwing head kicks now. He'll mix in like a back fist once in a while. Like he's got, the oblique kick is there.
His last 2 fights were knockouts.
I mean, shit, yeah. He's cleaning his clocks now, and you usually don't see that later on in a guy's career.
He probably just figured it out. It was one of those like little switches where you're like, oh, I'm actually good on the ground. So like, I don't necessarily need to worry about it. I still, train, but I got like this and I got this, and I'm like, oh.
Usually what you'll see over time is guys will have that in their arsenal because even if their boxing's not really crispy, they'll have the one hitter quitter power. So every now and then they'll get like a knockout early on, and then they'll slowly get away with it because they're trying to work on the technicality of it. But his was like, he started out technical, at least in like the Greco wrestling world, and then added all these tools. And I think Colby's always been like well-rounded. He's been like an A fighter, and then Kamaru started like a B level fighter, and now he's like A plus. Like we're doing so,
he skyrocketed.
So sure. I feel like he's passed Colby up in skill, but you can never count a guy out that's that fucking tough, and all these guys can knock each other out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like Colby hits hard, even though he's not known for being a knockout artist.
No, definitely not. Who else is on that card? Obviously, the rematch between Rose and Wale.
Yeah.
Wale? Sorry.
Yeah.
I mispronounced.
Yeah, I think I don't know what to do because you always have Joanna like right underneath those two girls.
She's been out for like 2 years.
She took some time off, right? Like
yeah.
And then
taking vacays.
And then what's the other little tiny midget girl, Brazilian? What's her name? That slammed Rose a couple years back.
Oh, Andrade. Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica Andrade.
She didn't. She had a win, but or no? Who did she lose to? Valentina.
Oh yeah, she moved up and fought Valentina.
Oh, that was
but
dreadful.
Of course,
Valentina's gonna wash.
I mean, there's if we can just be honest, dude. There's only one fight that makes sense for Valentina, and we've already seen it twice, which is why they're hesitant to make a third one. But like Amanda Nunes, that's the only.
They fought each other twice.
They fought each other twice.
I thought they only fought each other
both times. Split decisions that like a lot of people thought Valentina should have won.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
that's kind of crazy that Amanda Nunes being the most dominant women in like the UFC right now, but obviously you do not count out Valentina whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's wild too because like Nunes is a big fucking chick where Valentina makes 125 no problem, and like is constantly defending that belt, but it's a joke down there because she was competing with the best at 135.
She's like Mighty Mouse. I mean, she clears the division and just
she's just too good, man. Like Joe Rogan was even talking about it. He was doing up his best to like hype up the last chick she fought. Oh, she's really durable, tough girl, might present some challenges, but like she was just a
trying
human
to sell it.
Punching bag.
Yeah,
dude.
Oh, was it the former Lauren Murphy?
Yeah.
I was so good for Lauren Murphy though. I was like, come on. Grind it out.
It's just not gonna happen, dude.
I know. Valentina's well, I mean, they're like Scarlett Johansson and Black Widow. They were like born, and then they're like, congratulations, now you're just gonna fight. And they're like, all right, cool. And then they literally fight for the rest of their lives. And this is the product.
I've talked about this before, but I also feel like the only way you're gonna wake up make the upper divisions of women MMA like more interesting again in the UFC.
Tables and chairs.
Well, that too, but no, they need to get. I know that Dana didn't like dealing with her, and Tito's her manager and her coach and stuff, so that has a whole bunch of problems. But Cyborg, bring her back, man, because it's like that's the only person that can make it interesting with Nunes. I know Nunes knocked her out, but if you watch that fight again, Cyborg they were beating the shit out of each other at the same time, and then it was just one of those things where they both closed their eyes, bit down on the mouthpiece, and like Nunes just happened to land clean on.
I totally agree that if Cyborg came back, then
like if they fight 10 times, I think it's like 5-5. Honestly,
hands down. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can't base everything off the first fight because I think when we both watched that fight, we were both like going like, oh.
Because
like,
what do you do
they're
now?
both
You
swinging
have
at each other.
Geranime in there, like
Yeah,
no
but
one
she
wants to
wasn't
see
really-
that shit.
yeah.
You know, like no one wants to see that.
Was she the one that like swung after the
Every single fight, every single round against
Oh.
Holly Holmes. Yeah, yeah. Before Holly got
Yeah.
fucking stomped,
no?
but
Even then, I don't think Holly even matches up to.
no, yeah. But I mean, that's like I don't know. I don't think Geranime's fought Nunez yet, but she's kind of like she's a little scared. Like she used the steroid allegation as why she refused the fight with Cyborg, and
then Amanda Nunez
was, like,
goes
in
in there and knocks her out.
yeah, Cyborg got caught with something in like 2008 or some shit,
Oh.
and like it was like 10 years later, and they were trying to make that fight, and she's like, "No, I don't want it. She's a cheater." I'm like, oh, "Come on, bro." Like, I don't know.
I accidentally went to the doctor and I got like this protein powder, but it actually, you know, there's like a ingredient in it that is banned
the tainted
10 years
supplements.
ago. It's like, nope,
Yeah,
person's a cheater, flat out.
yeah. Bisping kind of pulled the same thing with Yoel Romero, but was more closer to when he was supposed to fight.
I mean, granted, I'm not a fighter, but that just shows me like you're definitely scared of that person.
Oh, dude, I'm using every excuse in the book not to fight Yoel Romero. If I'm Michael Bisping,
My pinky hurts.
played it perfect, dude.
How did
Dan
how
Henderson
do you get out
beats
of that
Hector
fight?
Lombard after Hector like is on a 4-year layoff and like without the roids, so he's like not half the Frankenstein he was.
Dude,
And then he's like, "Fuck you, Dan Henderson! Get on Twitter, build the hype." Everyone knows Yoel's the guy, and he's like, "I'm gonna beat your ass, Dan. Revenge
And
time."
Dan's
And, they're
just
like,
like-
and then
Dan's
Dana's
like-
like, "Fuck it, I gotta sell fights, man. I guess this is the one now." I was like, "Man, I know what you're
Yeah.
doing, dude."
Dan Anderson's just chilling on his couch. He's like, what?
Drinking beers, like
He's
yeah.
like,
Do you think Dan like trains anything except for overhand rights? I feel like he just sits in the gym and just the same punch
hey,
on
man,
the
but
bat.
Bisping wanted that one knockout that he took from Dan Henderson when they were tough coaches. And then, you know, where he just like, they're like, Bisping, don't go to the right. That's where his power is. He's like, all right, fuck it. Hits him anyways. And then just goes, wham. and
Bisping is the king of somehow winning fights where he clearly got his clock cleaned at some point. Like the Anderson Silva fight against Bisping, where
Oh my
Anderson
God.
jumps out of the cage. They're like, Bisping's dead on the floor, the round ends, and his corner's like, drag him over, like, okay, here you go, smelling salt, slap the face. Come on, wake up. It's time to go. You're still
He's
here.
like, oh no.
And then Anderson gassed out. And same thing with Dan Henderson when they fought. He knocked him out like 5 times. And Bisping was just like a fucking cockroach, dude. I don't
Yeah.
know how.
Oh yeah, that was that one. That was when they both were like swinging on each other.
Yeah.
When clearly Dan Henderson should have won that fight because Bisping looked
Bisping was
terrible.
piecing him up, but every time Dan landed, it was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
This might be
It can
over soon.
happen.
Yeah. So
I guess
that's kind of like,
It was also in the UK.
yeah, maybe a little home cook in there. Well,
Um,
anyways, I want to know your take. Do you think, sorry, I know we kind of talked about this towards the beginning. What do you think of Glover being the champion of 205?
I think it's a good thing, and I also think it's a bad thing. Not comparing fighters, comparing situations where GSP beats Bisping for the belt and then goes, sayonara, I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't think Glover's that type of guy because obviously
No.
he's not, getting Marvel deals like.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but I feel it's good because it shows that, like, it's good. Like, good for that guy.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah. Like, I'd root for him. I would
Yeah.
totally root for him. Like, between Jan and him, I was like, man. I was like, I'm cool with whoever
I mean,
wins.
I think
I
it's
was
like,
pulling for Glover though.
I'm happy for Glover.
But
because he's
if he
been around
loses,
so long.
if he loses, I say that I probably think that he retires. Or if he wins and he gets one defense, I think he retires.
I think it's one of those situations where you say, all right, Glover, listen, you've been a company man for so long. You worked so hard for this. You're old as shit. Who do you want to fight? Like, give him the Bisping deal where Bisping got to pick out, like, oh, I want to fight, Dan, and now I want to fight GSP.
But
Like,
now he's gonna have to fight Yuri.
oh, man,
And
I forgot about that.
that's gonna be. I mean,
Poor Glover, man. I think you're
granted, though, when I did
smashes
watch
him.
Yuri fight Dominic, like, it was an interesting fight because Yuri was just getting tagged, and they were like, "Stop, like, putting your hands down." But then once I feel like he found his range, it was dreadful. Like
Yeah,
Yuri just like
I think that's a
came,
bad matchup for Glover, man.
yeah, you can't take him down. I mean, the guy is super long,
Yeah,
but he also has that insane Muay Thai. You know, I don't know, man. Yuri's fucking crazy. That elbow was insane.
yeah, I think you make that fight, and if Glover wins, man, fucking good on him. He's already a legit champion. It's just I hate when old dudes that have been around forever and lost a whole bunch get the belt, because then it's like you always want to have the next young and up and coming thing be the guy with momentum, the best guy, you know, the good looking guy with pizzazz, you know, like Izzy is perfect to be a champion at 185 just because kids love him. He's in MMA, good looking, you know, he's fun to watch. He's got a crazy style, you know, and I know he's over 30, but he just feels young to me, you know, and Glover really just looks like my dad, dude. I feel like Glover. Take that back. I feel like Glover is like real close to getting his AARP card in the mail. You know, like,
well, if there was a Denny's around here still, how dare you take down the See Me Denny's?
Yeah, like he doesn't pay full price at the movie.
Oh yeah, he definitely like gets the $8 one. Not the kids one that's like $5, but like the $8 one. No, I don't know if they up the prices, but he definitely gets free meals at Denny's.
Oh yeah, I know. He's square dances on the weekends at the old folks home.
Bro, I would honestly take the Yuri fight, and if I lost, you were a champion, big money. Go fucking live your life, man.
And maybe they can make him like a commentator on like UFC Brazil. You know how they have like
they have for Mexico they have Brandon Moreno. Like
they could do something. And I know they're always expanding, and there's a lot of Brazilians in MMA, so I feel like a guy that speaks Portuguese like him would be valuable.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, because he's like well spoken. He's a nice guy. Nobody dislikes him. I feel like him and Anderson Silva like commentating on fights would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. So then. Now continuing on to UFC 268 this weekend, Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, both coming off losses.
Yeah,
obviously, Gaethje was probably going to lose to Khabib. It was probably written in the It was probably written in the stars immediately after they signed, even though Justin actually tagged him a couple times, which I was surprised, and then Chandler. You know, immediately like knocking out Dan Hooker, star power, going straight to Charles Oliveira. And granted, like Charles almost lost, but I give him so much credit for coming back and like putting a whooping on Chandler.
I think I know this is like almost a cop-out answer, but I think it depends on which Gaethje shows up, because here's my thing. Like Gaethje to me has a higher ceiling. Like with Khabib out of the division, I think Gaethje has the potential where if he comes in and his head is right and he listens to his corner and he's got great star power, technical
for sure.
He can beat anybody. I think he could beat Dustin. He could beat all these guys, but I feel like he's a little bit of a head case because it's a different guy like the guy that fought Tony Ferguson. Fuck, man.
If he comes in fighting like that against Chandler,
he looked like a world-class boxer in there. But you know, and then what was his last fight that he lost, or the next fight after that he lost? Gaethje, he lost to Dustin, right?
No, so it was Dustin. I think it was like I can't remember because I'm trying to think of like the win.
Yeah.
And then leading into so I think he fought Dustin like prior, and then he had fought Tony, and then he had fought Khabib and then lost because I think
everyone loses to Khabib, so you can't really hold that against him. But
or it could have been flip-flop.
I've just seen him like
that was a war that Poirier and Gaethje had.
Apparently. Oh, that one was great.
Wait, no, I'm thinking of Dan Hooker. I don't think Gaethje's faced Poirier. Has he?
Yeah. Poirier, I think.
Well, I'm thinking of the Hooker Poirier. I'm thinking of the Hooker Poirier fight where they were just like rock'em sock'em robots.
Yeah, fucking Dan Hooker, man. I really like his style, but
I don't know why you decided to take a fight with Islam.
No,
like, we already knew what was going to happen. I love you, man.
If you're a striker and you're exciting, avoid the Dagestanis. You're sick that day. Go start licking doorknobs. Get yourself some COVID.
Yeah.
Back out, and then just keep fighting the exciting guys because you'll get paid. You'll get title shots. You fight these Dagestanis, man.
You're just gonna
put you on the floor. They mush your like your older brother mush your face against the cage and use it as a cheese grater, bro. And you're just sitting there like, fuck, let me up.
And he's the one who said, let's go 5 rounds. I was like, that's not going to go past like 1 or 2.
You want to get taken down and beat up for
5 rounds?
Like, come on, man. Yeah, so I think what I would say is I think that Chandler is very professional, always comes very prepared, and you know what he's going to give you. He's going to pressure you. He's going to come forward. He has really good wrestling. So if he ever feels like he's in danger, he feels like he can take a shot at any point. Gaethje, even though he's a great wrestler, kind of uses it defensively, like a Chuck Liddell style, where he just uses it not to get taken down. He doesn't actually go for takedowns that often. No. So I think that Chandler has a higher floor.
It's just going to depend on what
Gaethje has a higher ceiling.
Yeah, it's going to depend on what Justin Gaethje shows up, and I feel like we already know what Michael Chandler is going to show up. He knows he's confident on the feet.
Yeah,
but if he knows that Gaethje might be like, scaring him a little bit on the feet, he might just take him down and just try to like get him maybe submission.
I think my official prediction is I think Chandler edges him out in a war.
Okay, I had Chandler winning the fight. It's just like I said. It's just gonna like if Justin.
It's a great fight. Yeah. They're so evenly matched,
and they apparently hate each other.
I don't know.
Well, Justin hates him.
Yeah,
but Michael's like,
I don't know.
He's like, hey man, he was giving him so much props.
He's like, I like the way you fight.
Yeah, and he's like, Justin.
He's like, I just don't like your face. He's just trying to sell the fight.
He's doing a really. He's doing.
Well, have you ever listened to Gaethje like try to string like 8 words together? He fumbles on one of them, minimum. If it's more than 1 syllable in there, we're going on a ride, bro. That guy struggled. Like I don't know if he's punch drunk or he just is one of them like Midwestern boys or wherever the fuck he's from. But like, dude,
I don't even know where he's from.
Yeah,
I thought he was from like Colorado or something.
Yeah,
maybe I'm wrong. Arizona. I think it's Arizona.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, well, I don't know, man. He's got the Rocky syndrome.
Yeah, Chandler was just like talking him up. He's like, no, like Justin is definitely the scariest fighter I've ever faced. He has that like ability to just literally walk in going like, oh, it's just Justin Gaethje. It's like, no, like this is the guy who can like clearly clean anyone's clog.
Yeah.
And it's, he literally just stands there and he's like, you can hit me all you want. He's like, I'm just going to hit you 5 times harder. So if Chandler takes him to the ground and actually starts working it a little more, just wearing him down, even though Gaethje has a great gas tank, which is kind of funny, like that he's a wrestler, but he mainly just stands up and fights. But he's like a Nate Diaz, but with
more power
for sure,
and way better wrestling. My favorite Gaethje fight is the Michael Johnson Gaethje one because they both almost killed each other at one point in that fight.
Yeah, that was his first fight.
Yeah, that was great, dude. I loved it, and I still like Michael Johnson to this day, but I just feel like he's got a lot of quit in him. Like he's so talented, but like as soon as he gets hurt, you could just see like he's like, oh fuck, I don't want this anymore. Yeah. Like I don't know, but I don't know. It's gonna be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. I think officially I got Chandler winning a decision, and I think both men obtain severe levels of CTE when that fight's done. And I think same result with Colby Usman. Both guys are like battered, bloodied, and on their way to the hospital. No post-fight presser for either one. Except for Joe Rogan's going to be sitting next to both of them like, hey, I don't know. I know you don't know what day it is.
Or be like slumped over.
Yeah,
on the
like
ground.
dead tired. And Joe's like, tell me about how you got fucked up in this fight.
He's like, why aren't you waking up?
Yeah.
Wake up.
Smelling salts, microphone. Yeah.
Little burst of energy.
Yeah.
I'm alive. How do you feel? Back
down. Narcan. Yeah. Interview time. Yeah. Joe would be the guy to give like CPR and stick a mic in their face. Like,
I just like where he sits against the cage with Connor. He's like, Connor, how do you feel?
Dude, those memes are great. Those memes are great. Dude.
Yeah.
I love them.
I would have to say Chandler, but I'm thinking that not by a decision. It's going to end.
You think so?
I don't think it's going to go to the
distance. End early. I want it to go.
No, I think it's a 3-round fight. Or is it a 5-round?
I would hope it would be 5. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be great if it was 5. If it's 3, then it might go to a decision. If it's 5, I think it ends. Yeah, Rose and Waylay, I think it stays the same where Rose
outpoints her.
Yeah. I love Colby and I love Usman. Like he's great. Don't get me wrong. But if Colby shows up from what I'm like reading, like or some videos I saw of like his 2.0 type Colby, and he shows up better than what he did the first time, which was actually incredible because I mean Usman was really great.
Yeah,
or is
both,
really great.
They're
still.
both clearly the one and the two. Like
Then,
when either one of them aren't fighting each other, it's like, well,
if Colby actually, if he stays level-headed and he doesn't go into it going like, I'm just going to stand up with this dude, I think Colby beats him just because he'd be like, all right.
Okay.
I think
I like
instead of like standing up with the guy, he probably should have just taken him down and then just like wore him down.
Yeah.
I mean, he did it with Tyron Woodley. I mean, granted, Woodley was.
Don't get me wrong, dude. I would like Colby to win, and I'm not even like I don't really. I like both the guys, but I think he's like more fun for the sport because everyone either loves him or hates him.
Oh yeah,
he's still doing the cheap suit with the stupid MAGA.
Everyone thinks he's like trash.
He's
and
such an idiot, dude.
I love that.
He does it on purpose. The fact that people get pissed off about it is like crazy to me because like clearly it's a fucking joke. Like it's not. When he does his real life.
Well, when he does like the videos, he's like, "What's up, virgins? Look at me and all these girls
and virgins.
Head up to my bookie and book your fight or like place bets on this."
None of them are into him either. It's not like whenever you see like
he's made me want to
see dudes like Anthony Pettis like balling out in Vegas. You know that guy gets chicks.
Yeah,
Colby, the chicks are in his videos like posing like duck face, trying to get more followers. They don't give a fuck. He
hits up the Bang Energy guy. He's
yo,
give me some of your girls.
Yeah, throw some talent my way, dude.
Yeah,
Fashion Nova isn't picking up.
I mean, yeah, if Colby does what he's supposed to do and sticks to the game plan and not try to like swing for the fences with this guy, which he never did in the first round, they just kind of outpointed each other, then I feel like Colby edges it out. But if he just doesn't do anything on the ground and not like wear him down and really like put Usman in like deep waters, Usman's probably gonna either fucking hit him really hard. And I mean, look what he did to George Masvidal.
I think
you saw the spit flying everywhere.
Yeah, I think for a war either way.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm
excited for. Yeah, big war.
All right, guys, Garage Goons episode 10. Go follow him on J Music, right?
Yeah, J_Theo Music.
Okay. Yeah, Garage Goons, the most trash show on YouTube. Thanks for watching.
Wish him
again.
a happy birthday.
32. It's really
he's old.
You don't have to, honestly.
No, wish it to him.
This
wish
one
him.
Count.
Wish him.
Maybe when I'm 40. All right, guys. Yeah, tell me how trash we are in the comments. Go follow this guy. He's got music coming out, new music dropping. Stream,
everything.
Follow, buy,
everywhere.
Swipe, left, right,
up and down.
Yeah,
side
all of that.
side.
SoundCloud, whatever. You're not on SoundCloud anymore, are you?
No.